Charmin Ultra, less is more. Stainless steel was increased by Drake.
Smoky Mountain memories.
Remember when Bobby Boucher showed up at halftime and the Bud Dogs won the Bourbon Bowl, do you?
Under Armour boys, we protect this house.
Well, I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
Welcome, everyone, to the TCAA Playoff Committee show. I am your Commish Bromy. Hope everyone is having a very good time. Excellent season for everybody. It's just, first year having this extra week as well. Kind of made a little things interesting having this extra week, non-conference play. But just in general, football in general was good. The league did good, I feel, this year. A couple of ups and downs, a few things, a couple of people dropping out of nowhere, but you know what? It is what it is, but we always adapt. We always run through this thing. So before I bring in all of the presidents that have volunteered their time to go over and decide who's going to be our bowl games, who's going to be in our top 4 playoffs, I'm going to recap real quick what happened last week. If you're watching live, which nobody is right now, but I know you will eventually, we will go ahead and you can see on my little ticker at the bottom who were our conference champions. So it is, quick recap just so everyone knows what happened there. So we're going to recap them here. The first one on my board here is the ACC Championship from last week. Take it back. This is the Mountain 6 brand new conference, Mountain 6 conference title game last week, where we had number 7 University of Kentucky Bourbon Ballers facing Grimes State University. And Grimes State was able to pull off an upset, winning 128-111 for State. No reason to go over any of the players and how they did, because like I said, we got a long, boggle all the time here, talking about how Kyler Murray scored 12 and James Conner scored 29 and Tom Brady with 32 and Cooper Kupp with 20.
What the hell happened? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know how that happened, but that's interesting. Let's
Not real
see.
sure where Commish is.
Yeah, I'm seeing Marty. I hear your voice, but I don't see your picture.
Yeah, I've got my camera muted.
Yeah. I probably should turn my camera off and probably breaking everybody's phone. So I see Andy is up. I see the Commish is up. Andy has his mic turned off. So I'm going to turn my mic off.
Can you hear me?
I
Yeah, I can hear you.
Who was that?
That was Cruz.
Yeah, I can hear Vestal. I can hear Marty. I see the little icon. It shows that Marty has his mic off right now.
Marty's got his off, yeah. Anyways, I'm sure we're going to get it figured out.
There's Commish. He's back up now.
Guys hear me or no?
Yeah, we got you.
All right. Who are we missing? Or is this everyone? No, we don't have this one. So I guess I won't. Got a little technical difficulties here. All right. All right, check.
All right, can y'all still hear me?
Yeah.
All right, because I switched to another app while I have this one in the background right now. So
We're good.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm waiting for everything to load itself back up. I'm not sure what the hell happened there. It's not showing that my thing is flashing that I'm talking, so. All right, so everyone's back on. Everyone's ready to go again. We can try this again.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
yeah, I'm good.
Make sure you record it.
How far did I get? Yeah, it's currently live right now. So everyone, if they're watching live or whenever they get into this thing, they're gonna hear all the whatever the hell happened. So we're still live. We're recording, so we're still good.
Yeah, I heard you start to
Where
announce.
where was I when I got cut off?
I heard you start to announce conference champions, but never heard any champions announced.
Yeah, last thing I heard was you said Tom Brady, and then you were gone.
Okay. Well, see what happens when you talk shit about Tom Brady.
He's the GOAT.
All right. Let me swig. Don't ever talk shit about Tom Brady. I care about you, right? All right. Let's get back into it real quick. All right. So I killed off my the feed to the sharing of my screen. Hopefully that maybe I had too much crap opened up here. So maybe that will not let that happen again unless my internet, it said I lost connection, but I don't know how. So I got great internet feed here. So anyway, all right, let's do it again. All right, so back over this way. So all right, you guys hear me talk about Mountain 6 at all or no?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what about the ACC?
No.
All right, we'll start there then. All right, get back into it. All right, so sorry for everyone on the technical difficulties. Not sure what the heck happened to my feed here. Turned off a couple things, so hopefully that will not let that happen again. We killed all the videos that we had going as well, so now it's just us mic'd up. So hopefully this will keep us from crashing again. Live and in color here. All right, so we'll recap again. Grime State won the Mountain Six. We're going to go to the ACC. Terry Tate's Pain Train winning in that one over Brock State University, 141 to 121. In the matchups of a ranked versus ranked school, we had number 6 Dukem University going against number 5 Telford Tornadoes. And this one, Telford was victorious. Not even a chance for Dukem U. Honestly, it was 188 to 102. This is saying that is the 22nd highest weekly point total in league history for Telford with 188 score. So congratulations there to Marty. I know he's on the feed. I'm sure we'll hear from him in a little bit in general, and I'm sure he'll talk his school up because I know he wants to get into the top 4. So we will let him speak his mind there, but we'll continue on. So congratulations here to Big Six champion Telford Tornadoes. Congratulations there to Marty. Keep rolling, going to the Big East. We had Chicago Outfit Preparatory Academy going up against number 8 Acc 2 University. And in this one here, Copa was just too much, 142 to 1. And in general, the TCAA history here, like I said, 142 to 107 on that there. Next one we have another matchup. It's number 3 Copper Mountain Community College, and in this matchup, here's conference title championship. This is back-to-back for them. I believe this is their. So once again, Samurai Jackson 163 to 123. Next matchup, here's the last one, and this one was just straight crazy. Number 2 SCLSU up against number 1 Allen Wrench Trade School, and Allen Wrench said, "Not today. I'm dropping 2 on you." 202 to 156. SCLSU just didn't have a chance at all in that point total of 202. That's the 8th highest weekly point total in league history, solidifying Allen Wrench as the number 1. We'll find out later. So congratulations to Allen Wrench. That is also his first conference title win in TCAA history, along with SEC in general as well. So that is all your conference champions. So we're going to start diving in to who is facing who in the bowl games. I never remember which way I want to go with this. So first and foremost, I'm going to go ahead and bring in everyone here. You heard their voices earlier when we were having technical difficulties, but now we'll go ahead and get some introductions in here. So first and foremost, we have on my screen, the first one I see is Big Six conference champion himself, Telford Tornadoes, Marty. How's it going, Marty?
Hey, going good, Commish.
Good. All right. Thank you for joining and volunteering your time for us today. Next up on my screen here, we have the president of Louisiana, Joey. Joey, how's it going?
Doing good. Doing real good, actually.
Doing good. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you for volunteering your time. Next on my screen, we have last year's champion, this year's not a champion, is Jeff Vestal Tech. How's it going, Jeff?
We're good, man. Definitely not a champion this year. I think I went from first to around 20th, so we roll. But thanks for having me on, man.
It's always great to have you in here. It's no problem. Thank you for joining, volunteering your time. And then last in here, we have Andrew on Acc 2, just missing his opportunity in winning his conference title this season. How's it going there, Andrew?
It's good, man. And I didn't just miss it. I got my ass whooped. So just call it how it is.
All right. You got your ass whooped. And then that is we have Copa in here listening. Anytime he can chime himself in if he'd like to. Any comments and stuff like that. But congratulations there to Copa winning the conference title in the Big East there. I know he's sitting in here listening in. So congratulations for everyone who is a champion and everything of that like. So let me switch to go away from who our conference champions were. And I'm going to try to update this as we go, hopefully not break the stream again, but I'm changing my ticker over. Sure. All right, so bowl games. Now, which way you guys want to go with this? I don't think there's as much drama as usual for the top four. Just pretty much seeding as we've been chatting in general already on things. So let me get that. Why is that doing that? Do you guys see the banner really mixed up at the bottom there, or is that just on my screen?
Everything looks fine here.
Man, it just went off.
Yeah, I did.
It's off.
Here you go.
Okay. For some screwing up on my end, so maybe it'll fix itself when something catches itself up. Anywho, all right. So, how do you guys want to start this? Do you want to start with the top four? Do you want to feed in some of these bottom schools and get these other bowl games going? We can do toilet we want and figure out who are the worst two that we want to get into a toilet bowl game. You guys tell me which.
Yeah, I mean,
get this.
I wouldn't mind starting
over with.
I wouldn't mind starting it at the bottom and not working all the way up.
Works for me.
Whatever's the quickest way.
All right. Man, there is no quick way in this, unfortunately. So, right, we'll start from the bottom and we'll go ourselves to the top. This is always differences of opinions when we do these ones here, but it is what it is. So we'll just go start with the toilet bowl. Who feels who is deserving to face in the toilet bowl. It's usually what we do, in the very beginning, it was just whoever the bottom two schools were. And then I felt it wasn't necessary to reward schools that didn't pay attention, dropped out, didn't care, didn't participate in anything. Felt it wasn't fair to give somebody who were 0-13, 0-12, 1 in something that actually didn't do anything, any kind of participation trophy here. So we started changing it up to being the most participated lower winning schools. So that way they still have something to fight with. You do extra recruiting points when we do our final one in the end of the season. So it kind of helps them out a tad. So I will go ahead and we'll open up the floor. Whoever wants to go first, who you think is deserving to be in that toilet bowl, and then we can go ahead and start knocking out some of these schools.
What criteria do you want to go by? If it's not the worst record or the worst efficiency, worst what?
I don't know about that. I think you were just saying, teams that are active yet, they tried and they busted their ass, but at the same time they just sucked at the end.
Well, yeah. So you start with teams that have to be over a certain percentage level. Then who are the worst of those? So that's what I'm trying to figure out what you were saying.
Right. So like the two I chose. Yeah. So the two that I chose based off participation, activity, doing recruiting, doing the walk-up or the walk-ons, doing all of that stuff, to me was University of Dallas Spurs and Quack Attack. They both communicate with me in general, and I know that they're active. They did all what they're
I definitely
supposed to
had
do.
Quack Attack in that. 100% had Quack Attack.
Out of those bottom.
Well, that would match up a team with a 53% overall win percentage against a team with a 20% overall
wasn't
win
active
percentage.
at all. Well, I don't know what else is down. Yeah, you got the Volunteers. They did some recruiting, but they also went 5 their last 5 and stuff like that. But that's kind of the criteria. Who were the most deserving of the lower tiered schools that actually did all the full participation and stuff like that. So I can see recruiting and stuff like that throughout the entire conferences. who's doing walk-ons. You guys don't really get that opportunity, except unless you guys look at things. But on the bottom lower tier, those are the schools. Those are the two schools I nominate.
I had 100% had Quack Attack on that, and I'm sorry, I'm a little bit off topic, or slightly off topic on this, but when we get to the point of the other TCS bowls, right, the non-playoff bowls,
right?
Is there any kind of a conference tie-in with that? I've never really been part of the administrative side of the bowl.
We've never had conference affiliations with them because I think it was always with the odd number of conferences. Now with this new conference, I think there's the ability to look into that for next year. I actually have it down as a note to kind of mess around with that a little bit more and see what things look like.
So, that's what I'm saying. So like a team that finished, we'll say a Terry Tate, for instance, like they may not qualify for a TCS game, but if they had a bowl tie-in, then they would.
There'd be that possibility they'd be having like a tie-in because they won a conference. Like we can always look into that and say, hey, if they didn't qualify for one of those big bowls, but they won their conference, they are like the number one seed of the ACC. They get this kind of a thing. Definitely something to look. Definitely something that we'll have a discussion in with now having an even amount of conferences. I think it makes it a little bit easier to do the tie-ins.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. Back to the toilet bowl.
No, you're good.
Hey, Commish, what was the participation level for the Dynasty?
The Dynasty. Let me see if I can pull up everything here on.
Well, and I hate to interject just while you're doing this, but if we're not looking at the two worst teams for the toilet bowl, but yet the two worst teams who are deserving for a bowl, should we maybe pass over the selection now, going at the other ones in that way? You can go back and say, okay, well, these two guys probably should have gotten to a bowl, but they didn't because of all the participation, and they kind of automatically fall into that toilet bowl spot. Does that make sense? Can anybody hear me?
So what you're saying is that the ones that are good enough,
you kind of faded out
based on numbers to slide in there, but they don't make it in one of the bowls, would drop to the toilet bowl automatically.
Since typically the toilet bowl is always the bottom two guys, but instead this year you don't want just the bottom two teams. You want the last two teams who are active and maybe should have made a bowl, but they just didn't. So you fill the other bowls up, you see who's left, and then you say, okay, well, here are two guys that probably two teams that probably should have made a bowl, and they kind of slide in almost, default. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand what you're saying. And like I said, I've only been in the league a couple of years, but the years I've been in it, we generally don't have people with that good of records in it. Like the two teams I picked were Vols and Dynasty, just because they were both in the league for the last couple of years, and their teams were terrible. So give them a shot to win something.
I could go with the Dynasty because they had a horrible record. Who are the two? We have one team that left. That's Ball So Hard You, so they're out. Period. What's the other team that wasn't participating, didn't do anything? That I've heard y'all mention.
Was that Gondor?
Yeah, I think he kind of faded out toward the end of the season. By the way, I think the Commish is gone again.
He'll be back.
Well, I'm fine with Dynasty as one of the teams, and I was actually going to mention Gondor, but I thought he might have been one of the ones that were out. I don't know how Delta Tau Kai did.
The two that I had selected were the Dynasty and that Dallas team.
Dallas Spurs.
Yeah, they actually had the worst record in the league.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they have a overall an all play record of only 20%. So yeah, they're horrible.
But
and of course,
you would need. I think you need to ask Bromey how active they were. You know, is that a team?
well, I think that was the one that he actually mentioned that did everything that just had a bad year.
Okay, so he did say Dallas then.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, his was Dallas and I think Quack Attack, but Quack Attack had some monster weeks, man. They put up 170 a couple times and knocked off top 10 teams, I think, for all their wins.
we'll put it this way: the Dallas team, their highest scoring week was 128 points.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah, I mean they never broke 130. So, and their lowest scoring week was 79 points. So,
Jeez.
that's pretty bad. Of course, the team right above them, which is the Volunteers, not better. Their lowest scoring week was 65 points, and so now if you want to look at something else, teams that could have won more but just didn't for whatever reason. Second one above it would have been like Jefferson Community College. They could have won 8 more games than they won, but they didn't start the right ones. And then Gondor is one of those teams could have won 9 more games. So I mean, there's several in there that just didn't, which are interesting stats. So that means their efficiency ratings just weren't that great. But when you look at the University of Dallas Spurs, here's why I think they're a good deserving candidate. They have a 79% efficiency rating. That's extremely high efficiency rating, to be honest with you. And they just didn't win. So they started the right players. Their team's just not that good. So, or wasn't that good this year. And transversely, Delta Fu had a 95%, almost 94.5% efficiency rating. But yet their record is not good at all. So,
Yeah.
Well, it's 9-4. So it's a decent record, but they still have a low winning percentage against everybody else. So I don't know.
All right. So this is just the Toilet Bowl. And Dallas, yeah. I mean, he was active. He was efficient, right?
Yeah, I think that's what Bromey said.
Yeah. The Commish mentioned Quack Attack. I mean, who else between Quack and Dallas, I guess, was it like fairly active team?
Was the Dynasty active?
Yeah, that was the question we were asking. I know the Dynasty has been active in the past. In fact, I mean I want to say that they have actually maybe won the league or at least won a conference in the past. But I don't know how active they were this year. I'm trying to look up recruiting right now to see if they've actually been recruiting. Let's see.
Our fearless leader's getting headphones to do it from the phone, so he'll be on in a minute and able to talk.
I should probably know how active they are because they're actually in my conference. So I guess that probably answers my question since I don't know if they're active. No, the Dynasty has not recruited at all. So I would say no on them.
What about DBAP or whatever that is?
DBAP? Yeah, he's
like way up there.
Yeah, he's like 7-6.
He's a 7-6 record. 78% efficiency. He's got a lot on there, but are y'all looking at him for another bowl?
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be in there for a bowl game.
Because I don't know where he finished in his conference, but he had the highest weekly score at 202.9. And he didn't make anything. I don't think he made a conference game, did he?
No,
so
he's a
consolation. I don't know.
Yeah, he's in my conference. He didn't make the conference championship. He ended up finishing third or fourth in our conference.
All right, can you guys hear me? I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
All right, I'm just gonna do it from my phone because apparently streaming on the computer and everything else I have loaded up is just not cooperating very well for us right now. So I'm trying to close out screens at the same time to be able to flip around things. So
Hey, Louisiana, to answer your question about DBAP, he is currently in the top 10.
Top 10?
Yeah, he's ranked number 9.
yeah, he was ranked number 9 going in to conference play.
As far as the coaches poll and all that ranking going into the last week, he was number 9.
Yeah, I have him outside of the top 10 based on statistics. So just what I was asking.
Yeah.
He's
So
out in the top
to
15.
catch you up, Commish, we've kind of all agreed on Dallas.
Okay.
We're just kind of looking at that last team there. We noticed that the dynasty hasn't recruited at all, so we feel like that's not another question was asked about Jefferson community. Did
they missed the first period of the season. They were active in general. I know they did recruiting and they did the walk-ons and stuff like that. So they missed the first regular season one. But I mean, they did 2000 in recruiting.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, they're winning some people in their recruiting.
Is that a new team, Jefferson?
It's actually the and for Delta Phi Gamma when they had the 2 coaches. So that's Tsbn, and so he broke off after they won the title a couple years back, so he could do it on his own. And then he took over. He took over. I don't remember which school it was originally, but he took over school in the Big Six.
Okay, so he has been in the league a few years then.
Yeah, he's 4 or 5 years in total, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they're my vote for the second one to be in there with them. Just looking at their record and the fact they were fairly active, they could have won more. Just for some reason, they didn't have. They had bad luck, and probably, at least they put them in a bowl game. That's my choice. I don't know who anybody else picks, but I think somebody said Quack Attack, and somebody had mentioned Dynasty maybe. So
yeah, I'm fine with Dallas and Jefferson. 2 and 10, 2 and 11, and 3 and 10, or whatever.
That's pretty bad, man.
Yep.
That's pretty bad. All right.
Okay.
Bullet Bowl it is.
I am good with that. Let me make a note here. And we're putting in Jefferson Community College. All right. Hopefully, doing it off my phone kills any more of me getting eliminated from these things to kind of make life a little bit easier here.
Yeah, I'm on my phone. The only thing I notice, I can barely hear everybody. So.
All righty. All right, so that's one bowl down. Let's go to the next one. Updating my little ticker here. So that way, people who are missing out, they now see it's University of Dallas Spurs versus Jefferson Community College Southwest in the Toilet Bowl. All right. Next one up, we'll go ahead and we'll just, doesn't really matter. There's no conference affiliations or anything like that. So the next one, we'll just talk about Tsbn Bowl. One of the very first ones. It's hosted by me. I'm the person who does the play-by-play. So what do you guys have for that? For me, I nominated in this one 2 schools that won't make it into the TCS one, and they had a pretty good season. And is DBAP University going up against Delta Phi Gamma. And what I do when I'm looking at these matchups, I'm also trying to make sure they didn't face each other this year. So that's what I look at when I make these matchups for these bowls, is not looking for a copycat kind of match, a rematch of things, unless it's a necessity. But I feel like for me, Delta Phi definitely deserving of a bowl game. They're definitely not going to get into the top ones, but them versus DBAP University, I feel like would be a nice little matchup.
Let me see.
You said Delta Phi Gamma?
Correct. Yeah, Delta Phi Gamma. Delta Tai Chi ain't getting shit. So Delta Phi Gamma.
Okay.
That's Delta Tau Chi. Not Chi.
I know. He corrects me all the time. I always say Tao Chi now. I know it's wrong.
Well, I'm in a fraternity and it was Delta Chi, so I'm kind of particular. So. All right, so yeah, I don't know who you put in there, but yeah, whoever you said, I guess that's fine. DBAP and somebody.
Yeah, Delta Phi Gamma and DBAP.
Yeah, if they've not played this year, that works.
Anybody else have any other ideas of maybe who they were wanting to see? Maybe one of those two schools face each other. Anybody different, or roll with it?
Sounds good. I'm good. Whatever you said. So.
I don't know, man. I just haven't been high on Delta Phi all season. I mean, yeah, they were very efficient, but their team just is not good. They won a lot of games that they probably shouldn't have. But I mean, their points per week is just it's at the bottom of the barrel as far as like bowl games go. I feel like DBAP is probably a blowout there.
Well, if you want to look at one statistic, I guess I look at the all-play win percentage. Delta Phi is barely a 40% win, where DBAP's well above 50%. So,
yeah, I just think, and I get it. I mean, keep it, separated, teams, but
it's one of those things where Delta Phi has a good record, but they're not really. I don't know how good of I don't know. I'm not going to say anything, but.
So, well, real quick, as I'm looking more at this, a boo-boo, they actually defeated DBAP University already this season. So in the 9 wins for the 9 wins of Delta Phi, so we'll have to change this matchup because I don't want that. So Delta Phi defeated Vestal Tech, 7 wins, Jefferson, 3 wins, DBAP 7 wins. They defeated Copper, who just went for a title, 10 wins, Dynasty 3, Philly 6, Baki, who is in it, for 9, Delta Tau for 6, and then also they defeated Telford, who's got 10 wins. So to me, they've got a pretty damn strong record, in my opinion.
They have a very strong record. That's very good.
Considering the team Delta took over, and for the history that roster was, they were 0-12 last year. The year before that, they were 1-10 or something like that. These are the exact same players. He just added a few that he could. No recruiting got done for this school in like 2 or 3 years. This school was basically what got done in the rookie draft. That was it. That's how horrible the previous owner was. That's why every week I just talked so much about how Delta Phi was doing very, very well for what they had.
Well, just out of curiosity, instead of DBAP,
and that's probably not a good one, what about Delta Phi versus Andy's team in that bowl? 2 9-win teams, 2 decent coaches, 2 decent records, 2 fairly close statistically.
I could go. I could go for that.
How many TCS bowls do we have?
It is, besides the 2 playoffs, then you have 2 others. The other ones are the Huckleberry and the Under Armour.
Okay. I mean, because you were talking about DBAP. I mean, based on your all's current rankings, DBAP is number 9. Andy is number 8. Kentucky is number 7. And let's see. I can't remember who's number 10.
Number 10, I think, was Upper, I believe. Oh no, I got it. Hold on, I got it here. Actually, number 10 was Land Thieves.
Land Thieves, yeah.
And they were idle.
So, I mean, when I'm thinking TCS Bowl, I mean, I'm thinking, okay, you've got your top 4 in your obviously your playoffs,
Right.
then my thinking would be like 5 through 9 for your TCS bowls. And so I think that would be some of those 9-win teams that we'd be looking at for those.
Right.
As well as I think there's Copper Mountain had 10 wins.
Dukem had 9 wins. Copper had 10 wins. Kentucky with 9. Fa with 9. Delta Fu was 9.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm thinking you're going to have a couple of 9-10 win teams in that, rather than just a regular bowl.
Right. Like on my end, like I have Delta is that school on the outside looking in. They didn't get into their conference title matchup, so they wouldn't be moving up into the rankings to get into that those TCS ones. Whereas for Fa, I do have them in the other one of those TCS non-playoff matchups due to the fact that they were a ranked school. They did lose, but that's how kind of I have with them. So I don't have them in the bottom tier. I have Delta Fu, and everyone may have something different here because Fa did lose in their conference title game. But record-wise, they're 9-5. They're one of those schools that still has one of those upper records. And Delta Fu, to me, is that outside school looking in.
Well, see, I personally had Delta and Kentucky. Now, I don't know about the matchups throughout the season, but I had both of them in a TCS Bowl because they were both in conference championship games and both lost, and both were 9-win schools.
You mean Kentucky and Fa? Because Delta wasn't in their.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, Delta, Kentucky, and Fa. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I actually have that matchup also already. That's one of the ones I had in the TCS ones was Kentucky and Fa.
Yeah, that was kind of where I was looking at.
Yeah.
Like I said, they were both ranked top 10, both played in conference championship, both lost, but both had great years.
Right.
And then I also had Copper Mountain in a TCS Bowl as well.
Correct. Same. But
and then we'll have to kind of talk about who ends up not being in the top 4 to play Copper Mountain in that TCS Bowl.
So with DBAP and Delta Fu already facing each other, we kind of have to find them another opponent, in my opinion, then, because like I said, I don't really want them to be rematched in a bowl game.
Yeah.
So for Delta Fu, does everyone agree to the fact that Delta Fu wasn't going to be in a TCS game? They were that one school on the outside, or did someone have Delta Fu in one of those TCS games?
I did not.
Yeah, I didn't have it in a top bowl at all.
All right.
Or a playoff bowl, whatever y'all call it.
Yeah. So it sounds pretty consensus. That was the school with the most wins on the outside looking in. So they get to stay. So that's just finding them a replacement then, because for DBAP. So you're looking at, the likes of Dukem, Lanthe.
That's who I was thinking was Dukem. Very, very similar records.
Okay.
I'm good with that. I'm good with Dukem and Delta.
Let me make sure that they didn't face each other at all. No, they didn't. All right. Does anybody have any issues with Dukem and Delta?
Dukem and Delta. That's for the Dukem and Delta.
TSPN Bowl.
TSPN Bowl, sorry. I was like TCAA. Okay. Hosted by David Broham and Dan, what's his name?
Dan Tariq. So, quick backstory, I guess. So when we were doing this originally, it was me and a guy named Dan, who was in one of the original leagues of this, was the TFL, and then we went to this TCAA. And so what we were doing was we were playing off our names. So I was David Rome, that's for Jim Rome, and he was Dan Tarico for Mike Tarico. So he doesn't even exist anymore. He doesn't even play fantasy football anymore that I know of. So, but it looks like Fa got himself kicked out. I let him back in. So I know he said he has some stuff he wanted to talk about.
No, you guys, what you guys just decided is what I was going to say is put the 2 9-win teams that aren't in those top tier bowls in this one and go from there.
TSPN.
All right. So, Andrew, you said you want to chime in on something. What do you got?
Can you not hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I
you're
heard
good.
you.
All right. I was just gonna say do the Duke. I had Duke and Delta Few in that game from the beginning. I just didn't know if anybody else would do that. But since that's what everybody's talking about, I think that's a good matchup.
All right. So let's lock it in. Delta Fu and Duke Mu. Sounds locked into me. All right. So next matchup then. Let's just pick and random go. We'll go Stainless Steel Bowl. I'm gonna go say I have no idea where Brian originally came up with some of these damn names either. Why he chose Stainless Steel, I have no clue. We just always kept these names the same. But anyway, so what do we got? What other matchups you guys thinking that you'd like to have out there?
I got Vestal versus South Texas.
So pretty much you guys are going off just seasonal record, pretty much nothing else at this point, right? That's what it looks like.
I mean, I'm going off the power rankings, efficiency, and where they were at when we ended the season.
Now, honestly, for me, I'm soured on South Texas. They didn't recruit. I don't know if they would have beaten Telford in the last game of the week to have gotten the championship.
I knew you were going to bring this up.
I'm super soured. I know they're 8-5, but they haven't checked in like 30 days, which was brought to my attention. They haven't recruited. They sure as hell did not even attempt that last week. And like I said, I don't know if he would have beat Telford or not. I have no idea. I'd have to look back and see what would have been. But I'm super soured on South Texas. I know you're not supposed to take these things, personal, but as the commish, I take this shit personal a little bit. So, and he had some good wins too. That's what sucks. But he's the only school to defeat Allen Wrench, and I think that may have just been a fluke. Honestly, Allen Wrench must have had a shit week. But that's just me. So I'm soured on South Texas.
Yeah, I have them ranked very low, so like 14th. So when you're looking at schools and exactly how strong they were compared to the other 34 teams in the league, that's what I look at. I'm not worried about how they ranked in their small conference. I'm not looking how this. I personally am looking how they rank overall in the top 35 teams, like college football, right?
Oh, what about Vestal and DBAP?
I like that. 2 7-6 schools, both competitive. I mean, they've both been flirting with the top 10 all year. I mean, it seems legit.
Hear that?
Which part? The Vestal and
those,
yeah.
I like that one better than I do the South Texas in there, but yeah.
I'm good with that.
Speaking on behalf of Vestal, I will accept the nod for the Stainless Steel Bowl gladly. Thank you all. I'm just happy to be here.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Thank you. Yes,
That's it.
I'll take it. Whatever you want to do. Bring it. I played against the top 4, well, what we're assuming is going to be the top 4 teams. Well, minus Copper. But
well, then just lock that one in as far as I'm concerned. Vestal and DBAP, right? So
yeah. So we're gonna go Vestal Tech versus DBAP U. Everyone's pretty solid on that one.
Yeah, I'm good.
We don't need that.
All right, Stainless Steel Bowl it is then. Let's go ahead and cross that off. Put that in. All right, let's go to the next matchup. We're gonna go with the jacked up Mountain Dew Bowl game. This I originally actually had Lanthees versus Vestal. Vestal went elsewhere. So I had Land Thieves in this matchup. You know, like I said, there's no conference, so who cares? But I'm sure Land Thieves had probably your guys' thoughts in the matchups here. So, what do you guys think of Land Thieves and what kind of opponent?
I had Land Thieves and either Copa or Brock State at 7-7 going against them since they both won their conferences.
Brock State didn't win.
Or I'm sorry. No, yeah. Then I got Copa. I'm sorry. I was looking at something else. I apologize. I was looking at Grimes.
Terry Tate won the ACC.
Yeah, Terry Tate got him. I was looking at Copa and Grimes because they won their conference, even though Grimes was 6-8.
Actually, Terry Tate and Land Thieves is not a bad matchup.
Let's see that. That's conference title. No, that's not a bad matchup, is it? It's conference champ. Was there some rule against
you said Copa and who else? Brock.
I was looking at Copa and Grimes.
Oh, Grimes.
That's what I was looking at, but.
Yeah, they were the two upset. They were the two upset teams, right?
Consistent.
Yeah,
they were the two upset teams in the conference.
Yeah, when I had it written down, I had Copa versus either Terry or Grimes. I really decided, I feel like they deserved the bowl game. 7-7. Both of the Terry and Grimes were 6-8, but they both won. And looking over who they faced, who they beat, I felt Grimes had the better overall resume to be one of those 6-8 schools to make it into this. Because once again, I'm soured on South Texas. So to me, I was choosing Grimes over Terry to face Copa, even though Terry did win their conference. They're actually my conference champion on the outside looking in.
Why not Grimes and Terry then? I don't see why y'all so hot on Copa at this point. No offense, Copa.
Well, I think the interesting thing is that Copa has they're up there near the top 10. They're the conference champion as well. What's their one of their?
Well, Copa and Grimes works then.
Have they played each other?
Yeah, I'm good with Copa and Grimes.
Yeah.
Hell, a Mountain 6 team ought to be playing for a Mountain Dew Bowl. What are you talking about?
It almost makes perfect sense.
Yep.
All right. So we're good with Copa and Grimes.
Yeah.
And that is for which bowl?
The jacked up on Mountain Dew Bowl.
All
right. So this is now going into the final non-TCS game. The Beats by Dre Bowl. The schools not mentioned yet that I had in a bowl that I was thinking was in these lower bowls, that is, not in the upper ones, was Terry Tate, Brock State, and Greenville. And those three, I don't know how everybody else feels about those three, but those were then the other three schools I had then vying for these positions.
And did Terry? Which one won that conference, Terry or Brock?
Terry won the conference.
Terry won.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Terry won, but the funny thing is about Terry, even though, and this was my argument about being a conference championship, even though I was suggesting putting him in both minutes ago. He had the third. He didn't really have a good team. He lucked into the championship game, and then he lucked into a win there. I don't think he really deserved it.
Man,
That's just me.
That's awesome.
I think Brock had a better team. So
yeah, I got Brock State and Greenville would be the two that I had.
Brock State. Let's see. You're saying now you're saying Terry Tate lucked in.
Do we have another? How many bowls do we have left?
Terry Tate looked in at 126 average points per week.
This is the last. This is the last bowl game
because Terry Tate's in my conference and I had more points. I had better efficiency. I was in the top 10 more often than he was. So, yeah, I think he lucked in because I've done only 2 games. Well, actually, 1 game.
He still won it, though.
In the game against
instead of him. He still won it.
So that's why. I just think he lucked in.
Yeah, I mean, okay, he lucked in and then he won it. So, yeah, he's conference champion.
I know one thing that I really looked at, as far as like some of my rankings and things like that, was the kind of like the points for, points against kind of thing. And looking at this particular conference, it looks like that Terry Tate scored over 140 more points on the season than Brock, and also had 100 and almost 60 points more scored against him.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're even in the
If you want to argue that, my team had over 200 points more than him and 200 points more scored against me. So, I mean,
Not scored
lucked
against.
into it because and that's why, like I said, that's one of the reasons I don't ever look at just the seasonal record. I try to look at overall because it's fantasy football. And one player who's supposed to do awesome has a shitty game, and we'll say Patrick Mahomes, and I'm sure everybody who's had Patrick Mahomes will agree he's an automatic start, but yet 3 of the 4 games you probably started him, he absolutely shafted you. So it's one of those things.
Terry averages 10 more points per game, scored 4, and he has, on average, 11 points per game more scored against him. Yet he's only 1 game worse than Brock, and he won the freaking conference. I just don't think it's even in question who the hell's going.
Yeah, I'm good with Terry Tate.
And so are we saying Terry versus Greenville?
Here's my thing. I got another question for you. If we're looking at the amount of bowl games left, and I know you said Texas is on the sour side, you're probably not going to approve them going in whatsoever. But as we kind of look at some of the higher teams, like what team could possibly get left out? You know, UK or Land Thieves? Are you going to leave one of those 2 teams out of the bowls? I mean,
like right now. So for me, like we haven't mentioned Land Thieves into another game yet.
Yeah.
This is
the last non-TCS bowl, right?
Yeah. This is the last non-one. After this, it's them figuring out who.
Potentially one of those top tier teams not even making it in the bowl game.
If you guys are truly worried about conference championships and stuff, then I would say the 2 conference champions don't make the top 4 play in this last bowl. So whoever they are.
I mean, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
Very solid point. Because I know in our little group chat thing, I'm the guy that to me conference winning your conference means something. I mean, even though Terry was in a conference that was obviously not very good overall record wise. You look at NFL, and I know we kind of base this on college, but even you looking at the NFL, the Chargers went 7-9 and got a bye 1 year, so because they won their division.
I'm pretty sure Carolina did it at 6-10 too. So,
well, if you're looking at the NFL, you're going to see teams this year that get in with less than 10 wins. So,
yeah.
So I'm just saying, if you're putting that much emphasis on a conference championship, which, to me that their bonus was getting to play for the conference championship. They won. They got a little money. Doesn't necessarily mean they should also get a bowl to win more. But if you're going to put the emphasis, then I think the 2 conference champions that don't make it into the playoff bowls should play each other in a bowl. If you're going to say they earned a bowl, they earned a bowl. So. Just that it.
Which we do have with Copa and Grimes. Terry Tate's that one that loses out. Would be not to get in. He's the only one who won a championship that's not currently in the bowl game at this moment.
And I would leave, and I'm fine leaving Terry Tate out because I think he lucked into it, and I think he lucked a win there. I really do. Right. And ACC, which is my conference, is the lowest ranked conference. So, it's kind of like saying, well, the Sun Belt needs to have somebody in over the Conference USA or something. I mean, it's kind of it's weak. It's weak.
Right. So one thing to look at then real quick here as we're going through this is we have a pretty good idea who the 4 are going to be, honestly, in the top. We just don't know their seeding. After that, you've got Copper, you have Kentucky, and then you have FA. And we kind of already talked about a Kentucky versus FA matchup. Then who would Copper face between the likes of Lanthe? Well, they're conference foes. So we may end up having that problem because I know we've already talked about that when it comes to the playoffs. But I really do try to stay away from, at least, in the playoffs, if they end up facing each other in the finals, it's one thing, but trying to stay away from the conference matchup. Because what I also do in these matchups is these bowl games are always week 1 games too. So it happens. That's the way I do it every year. I've always let that rematch be a week 1 game every season is the way I do it.
But my thoughts on Land Thieves are, looking at all things considered, I don't believe they're necessarily a TCS Bowl quality team this year. They have a fantastic track record, of course, but just all things considered, is an 8-5 team going into a TCS Bowl?
Considering that we left Delta Fu and Duke them out, and their better record.
Well, I was going to say, if we're not going to look at Land Thieves, we should take a hard look at Dukem in that last 4 TACS and put Land Thieves against Delta.
They're also in
the same conference.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Damn it.
Yeah, it then starts messing everything up.
Yeah. Okay.
Somewhere we're going to get messed up here.
Well,
is what's going to end up happening.
Can I make I'll just make an observation. When you added the new conference, you didn't add any more bowl games, I don't believe. And I think adding another conference, maybe another bowl game or 2, should have been added simply to accommodate the extra number of teams. That's all. And that would kind of eliminate your issue here. So whether it's for bragging rights or money, it doesn't really matter. Just a game to play. But
that's not a terrible idea either.
Right. And with this conference being added in, you do see these things already now as we're getting to this point, kind of, we can probably start maybe some conference affiliations through these bowls to make life a little bit easier on these things. And then this as well, it does change up the money factor. And I can't remember when I was doing the restructuring on the payouts, when we added the team, added the conference, and we increased the buy-ins and everything else. I don't think I ever looked at paying for another bowl game and the payouts, which then we would have to readjust that as well, say next season. But what we could do right now is create a brand new bowl game for this season, which will go into all the rest of the seasons. And we could just give up, say, recruiting points as the winner to this bowl game for this 1 year only, since we don't have a payout yet. And we can maybe do that structure that way.
Well, to be honest with you, getting recruiting points might be more valuable than money, to be honest with you, down the road. Because if you're playing in this league because you want to be more like a college and not NFL, you're really playing for a title. Not necessarily the money, because the money payout's not that great in this league, right? Think about it. So recruiting points helps you build a better team, and so you would rather play in bowls where you win points, I think. I would personally. So I don't think you really need any money, to be honest with you, for it.
So I would say this: if we were going to do that, then I would say the two conference champions with the extremely low records, which would be Tate and Grimes, get to play for the recruiting points.
Okay.
It's within their own conference.
Because they're both 6-win teams.
Yeah. That works for me, and you can even call it the recruiting.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got lost there. Who was that again? That was
I said Grimes and Tate
Grimes
to
and
play
Tate.
for just the recruiting points because they're both conference champs, but they're also both 6-win teams. And then that would leave you Brock and Land Thieves or Brock and Greenville as a money bowl.
Where's Kobe in all this?
What's that?
Where is Kobe in all this? They're still in the Jacked Up Bowl.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, we got him in the Jacked Up Bowl. Like what we're running into with doing this other bowl game is we're looking at who's, say, the number 8 seed school.
You know how to fix that, though, right? Is
right.
you let South Texas be in the bowls, and then it solves their problem. I'm not trying to be that guy, but I'm just saying if an 8-5 team can fill the void for Grimes, and then you can add the bowl, everything's good, and we're still playing with house money.
Yep.
Is he gone again?
I have no clue. I don't know when people are on.
I think he is.
I think he hung up after that terrible statement.
All right.
I hit the wrong button. Sorry.
He's back.
Yeah, I was chatting in the comment board on my phone, and then I hit the back button, and it got me out of there. So
Grimes out of the Jacked Up Bowl is this correct?
So for South Texas, if we're putting them in, right, we would then be assuming they're going to take the spot of, say, Delta Fu or Duke Mu, correct?
I thought we already said no to South Texas.
Well, it was just brought up a second ago about allowing South Texas in.
What I'm saying is if we allow South Texas in, we can have the Grimes versus Terry Tate game as our add-on bowl. We still have Brock and Greenville and the Beach by Dre. And then the Jacked Up Bowl, you'd have Copa against South Texas, and we'd still be sitting with house money.
But I still understand why South Texas, if for the reasons you said earlier, just because of record, or
why I say South Texas, because they're 8-5, and they've been flirting with the top 10 all year.
Yeah, the only as much as I hate to say this with Bromy on the line, because he's giving me crap about it the whole time. The only issue with possibly putting South Texas in is like my last game of the season, they didn't even set a lineup. So I had 3 bye. They had 3 players on bye. This is why the winner of our game got to go to conference championship.
I got you.
Well, the reason I don't want South Texas in, if they're not starting a lineup, they're not going to start a lineup for a bowl game. So why in the hell would you put them in a bowl game? Period.
So,
I mean, that automatically puts them out. It'd be like saying, well, Ball So Hard needs to be in a bowl game because he had a really good record, and but hell, he quit. So, you know what I'm saying?
No. I understand that. I'm saying that's an option to add a game and not create a major pain in the ass or a major riff across the rest of the games.
Well, you just go to another team instead of South Texas, whoever would be the next in line for whoever it would be. I mean, hell, even University of Thugonomics or somebody like that.
So if we look at it this way, you have Copper needs an opponent in our. I think we all agree Copper is probably one of in the 5 through 8 rankings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So we originally have Delta Fu and Duke Mu facing each other. They're both 9-5 schools. We would then need one of them, most likely Dukem, because they were ranked, I guess, prior. They were, they lost, to find their way into the other bowl game, which then puts, say, Copper versus Dukem, which were 2 schools in a conference title match that lost. And then it's finding another opponent for Delta Fu, that can't be Land Thieves, it can't be Greenville because they're all in the same conference.
Well, with that said, go ahead and fill the top guys, the top bowls, and then fill the rest of the bowls with who's left. So you've got some already done, but if you have these, go ahead and move up, get the other ones filled, and say, okay, here are the teams that are left, here are the bowls that are left, and just figure out where they need to go.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we'll bypass we got. So I'm trying to write everything down here real quick. So we're wanting to add a bowl game, and we'll call it the Recruiting Bowl or something of that nature for Grimes versus Terry Tate, correct?
Correct.
All right. But then that changes the Jacked Up Bowl. We'll have to find a new opponent for Copa. But either way, we'll worry about that later because we are going to figure out the two non-playoff games first. Because once again, I feel like we have a strong top four.
Well, go ahead and get the top four out of the way.
Could you not put Land Thieves? Could you not put Land Thieves in against Copa?
That's what I don't. They played this.
I mean, we definitely could.
I mean, just looking at record alone, they're 8-5 and 7-7.
Right. I mean, I'm good with that, and then we can keep seeing how things build its way around when we keep filling all these other spots. So, I mean, at the moment, I'll write down Land Thieves. If everyone's good with that, Land Thieves versus Copa.
Yep.
Okay. So, for the top bowls, and then we'll get back to the one that we need to refilter out, which is currently the Beats by Dre Bowl. We have, in the non-conference, or the non-playoff bowl game, we were already discussing Kentucky versus FA. Is that still something we want to just lock in? Or
Can I just put this out there? That guy was the best man in my wedding, so I would love to kick the shit out of him if we can make that happen.
Then absolutely lock it in.
Great bowl.
Please make that happen.
All right.
And I hate Kentucky, so it'll make me feel better for beating him.
So, real quick, should we make that one the Huckleberry Bowl since they, got a little bit of a beef with each other?
Yeah,
we can make it whatever you want to call it. I just want to kick the shit out of him because I hate the name. I hate any name with the team name Kentucky in it, and I just want to kick his ass. So,
all right, there we are.
You and UK, is that right?
Yeah. So I've known Andy for like 5 minutes, and I already like this guy.
Yeah.
Is it because of the whole hate Kentucky affiliation?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The Tennessee love.
I'm not really a Tennessee fan, but I would rather see my team lose than see a Kentucky win, if that makes sense. Or like I would be more upset with a Kentucky win than I am with my team losing. Like that's how much I despise them.
I like it.
All right, well we'll lock that one in. So then we also then agree upon Copper is not in the top four.
Correct.
So then we need to find them the opponent. And originally I had Copper versus Duke MU.
That's
but
what
we dropped them. Yeah, and we dropped them out to face Delta Phi. But we can move Duke back up. They get a nice little bump back in to a TCS game, unless someone has something else they thought deserves to be in a 5 through 8 ranking.
Yeah, I think Dukem is. Have they played this year?
Duke, I don't think so. Let me check real quick since I already made one mistake on it. No, they did not face each other.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this
would then be refilling the Under Armour Bowl for Copper and Dukem.
Yeah.
All right. So now it is refinding an opponent. So we still need we got Delta Phi, we got Greenville that we were talking about. So we still need the Beats by Dre Bowl in general still filled out. And then we have Delta Phi needing an opponent, which, you have Terry Tate we discussed. We saw Brock out there. Oh, the Terry Tate's in a bowl game. So we have Brock State or anybody else that we may want to bring into this as well.
So we got Land Thieves playing Copa, right?
Right.
So we got Brock State and Greenville. and then we need the one more for
Delta Phi. Like,
for
what would
Delta
be
Phi.
like the next? Let me pull up my rankings of schools eligible that we haven't discussed yet. Bring it down. So in that mix, you have Vestal, you had Greenville, you had Chicago, you had DBEP, Brock, Land. South Texas, we're not giving them any love. So we have the top 16 already accounted for. So after that, in your 6-win schools, you have Adams College, Louisiana, Thugonomics, Harrison, Crenshaw, Delta, Tau, Upper. I'm not counting for Ball so hard. They don't deserve one. They're vacant. We're not doing that.
I was going to just say, based on the teams you said, for me personally in my rankings, Louisiana would have been the next team in.
So we have 2 games that we have to fill.
Yeah, we've got to fill Beats by Dre Bowl, which some people were saying just go ahead and see that as Greenville versus Brock State.
Okay.
So then it's just finding Delta Phi an opponent.
Okay, I don't know about 3 teams from the ACC going. I mean, conferences out there.
Let me see here. You have, I mean, if you take the ACC out of the equation, you got Adams, you had Louisiana, Terry's already in one. Then after that, you got Thugonomics, Harrison, Crenshaw, Upper Sandusky. Ball so hard, but they're not accounted. They're not allowed. Crenshaw had a great beginning of the season and then just went south at the end. I don't know what happened with them, but they were looking really good to start running away really with the Mountain Six, and then it just collapsed on them. I don't know if it was injuries or not, but it was just gone.
They must have Patrick Mahomes too.
Probably. and then your other six win school is Philly U, but they're near the bottom of what I think the rankings were in general already. So, I mean, if you're not looking for another ACC school, then you're going down to Thugonomics, Harrison, Crenshaw, Upper Sandusky.
Well, but we're also looking at Delta Phi being a 9-4 team as well.
Right.
I think just based on what I'm looking here, as far as points allowed, which is one of the things that I really look at, is how they're scoring. I would rather see a Brock versus Delta Phi. It looks like they're scoring similar. I don't know if they played or not in the season, but like Delta Phi scored. Well, actually, oh my gosh,
no,
like they're not 9-4, but they didn't score well at all.
Nope. That's why I kept saying Delta Phi is not one of the better teams, but
They
they got 9 wins.
Brody brought up a great point in that they had some really good wins on the year, but in general, they just didn't have a lot of points scored on them. They certainly didn't score much.
Yeah.
Well, and to the point that's been brought up about 4 or 5 times is that a lot of the wins they got were against teams that started Patrick Mahomes the week he shit the bed, and that ultimately killed him.
I had him.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes screwed several people this year, I promise.
Yeah.
I will beat that to the ground because he will never start for me again. I wish we could trade in this league because he would be gone. So.
All right.
So we've got you said Greenville and Brock going.
Right. Unless someone is saying maybe having Brock or can't be Greenville or moving Brock against Delta Phi and then just finding Greenville another opponent.
Well, I mean,
what if
personally,
what if we move
just
Land Thieves?
Well, Land Thieves can't face Delta Phi or Greenville due to conference.
Gotcha. I knew there was something there. I just couldn't remember what it was.
Personally, for me, just looking at again the numbers that I look at, I know Joey said no way we should have 3 ACC teams, but Louisiana scored over 1,800 points on the season.
Yeah,
I mean that's right up there.
They're my top 6 and 7 team.
That's right up there with Samurai.
Sure. Okay, but Brock is, I guess, kind of the question now. I guess.
Well, no, I was saying that I was saying Louisiana against Delta Fu.
Brock and Greenville are almost identical in their points.
Yeah, Brock and Greenville are almost identical. I think that's going to be a good matchup.
I do too.
And I mean, honestly, looking at points, it looks like that Louisiana would probably destroy Delta Fu.
Oh, hell yeah, they would. Yeah.
Oh man.
Brock's
Actually, I know,
he's got some wins, but
I personally, now that I'm sitting here really looking at it, I would rather see Louisiana and Brock go head to head, and then have Greenville play Delta Fu.
Well, Louisiana and Brock already faced each other.
And they're in the same conference.
Yeah,
let them go round three,
and Brock beat them already.
Ah.
All right, so Louisiana
Thank you, Patrick Mahomes.
and Delta Fu in the TSBN Bowl.
Which one are we saying with Delta Fu? We're going Delta Fu in Louisiana.
I think so.
Okay.
Anybody else that's not named Louisiana in this chat disagree or agree?
I'm good with that.
All right. Well, there we are. All right. Well, now it's been almost an hour and a half with a bunch of technical difficulties, but it's time to figure out who is facing who in our playoffs. And the way this one is the Smoky Mountain one is already seed 1 versus seed 4, and the Bourbon Bowl is already seed 2 versus seed 3. I know we had already a lot of discussion in the chat already about this, prior to going on air and everything, about who's third, fourth, all that stuff. Whether we do conference against conference in the playoff or not in the beginning, in the semifinals. But me, the overall consensus I would assume is Allen Wrench is number 1.
That's who I had.
Yeah,
I have Telford number 1 because statistically they're the strongest team. Statistically, the only thing that's different is their seasonal wins. If you look at everything else, numbers 4, efficiency.
Right. Well, Allen.
The only thing I think they lose on is bench
Telford.
points.
Yeah, they beat me. They beat me head to head in the season.
Allen Wrench did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was by like 30 points.
That still doesn't matter because, it's a Georgia Alabama type thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So but based on that aspect, I did have Allen 1 and I did have Telford 2.
I'll go either way. Like I said, I just think originally I would have had it that way until I ran the numbers and looked at the fact that they beat them in almost every statistical category with exception of season wins or losses. That's it. Head to head.
Yeah.
Like Allen Wrench, they faced in week 5, and Allen Wrench won 171 to 165, and Telford was home on that one. So they were getting those extra 3 points as well. So you take that out of the equation.
20-point win.
Go back and look and see who was out for COVID or who was out for a bye or who was out.
You give me a second. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm about to find that out.
Yeah, so.
Give me just a second. I'll find it.
Yeah, because
week 5.
I don't have it handy. It's at the office, but I actually ranked every game this year based on the players playing. And it was quite a mess. So, but yeah.
All right, so it almost sounds like maybe Allen Wrench should just face Telford again.
Well, I don't think I should be ranked number 4.
Oh, well, there you are.
No, if Telford's okay being number 2, that's fine. I think in the end, I would like to see Telford and Allen in the championship in the very end, right? If it's like the playoffs in college. So
yeah, that's kind of my thinking too.
So I'd like to see them on opposite sides of the bracket to give them a chance to go against each other again because I think Telford will win.
I've got Telford and SCLSU.
And then Allen versus Samurai Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fine to me.
That was actually how I had it drawn up too.
Because I actually had 3 teams that I could have put in the 4th spot. It was either Copper, Kentucky, or Samurai. But Samurai won his conference, and that's when y'all weigh that heavy. So
right.
Yeah.
And like ranking wise, I mean, Samurai was what, 3 going in or 4 going in?
Yeah.
So then you're having Telford, who was ranked 5, beating the number 6, jumping over the number 4 school that beat the number 3 school.
Yeah, I
Just looking at it that way.
I had Samurai and Telford at 2 and 3, and Allen Wrench SCLU at 1 and 4.
But I think he's wanting to avoid the rematch.
Yeah, because that would be right back-to-back rematch because they just faced each other in their conference matchup.
I get it. I'm saying that's what I had.
Like, I'm pulling up this matchup that they had in week 5 real quick just so we can see what it looked like as well.
Samurai, Mud Dogs, Tornadoes, and Allen. That's 4 separate conferences, and the way you had them just ranked, it's fine. I vote for that one. Y'all keep looking.
Yeah.
So you said Allen, Telford, Samurai, and SCLU, right?
Right, that's how I had it, and I had, it does find it always funny. I think SCLSU always finds himself in somehow the Bourbon Bowl. I don't know how. And it does actually always, if they're somehow in these rankings, they always find, or when they're not in the top 4 and that Bourbon Bowl is in a lower class one, they always find their way into it somehow because they're always one of these top schools, which is I always find funny.
So you said 1 and 4 would be
Allen and Telford.
Allen.
All right, so here you go. Here's your matchup from week 5. Allen Wrench versus Telford Tornadoes. You had Josh Allen. This is Allen's matchup here. And at this time, mind you, Allen Wrench was 5-0. Telford was 2-3. Just throwing that out there. So Allen Wrench had Josh Allen, 41 points. DeAndre Swift with 19, Devontae Adams 32, Cooper Kupp 13, Adam Thielen 5, Mike Gesicki 6. Defense. He also had his safety Kevin Byard with 20 points on that one.
Oh, that was the pick 6 week, yeah.
Yeah, Telford had Tom Brady at 45, Zeke Elliott at 24, James Robinson 21. They both had Cooper Kupp, Cordero Patterson 17, Zach Ertz with only 1, and then his defensive star was Aaron Donald with 13 points.
Yeah, that was when both George Kittle and Rob Gronkowski were hurt.
Right. And
I was starting Zach Ertz.
Right. And on this one, they note that there was no chance Telford could have beaten Allen Wrench. There would have been no lineup Telford could have set. But Telford would have beaten 29 out of the other 34 schools if they faced them in that week.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there for that one.
To give them a chance to play in the end, I think Telford and Mud Dogs and Allen Wrench and Samurai is your first round matchups, in my opinion. 1 and 4, 2 and 3.
With the fireworks flying, man, it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, that was how I had it drawn up.
They're all gonna be good. That's a very strong top 4.
So you guys were saying Allen and Samurai, Telford and SCLSU?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if they ever face each other at all here, just out of curiosity. Samurai doesn't look like it. So it looks like they're all clean games.
First timers. Nowhere near the drama this year is what was going on last year.
Just the way it works sometimes. I mean, I could continue the drama if I wanted to, but
I know, but we all just agreed basically on that play.
Right.
That didn't take much effort at all.
No. So to confirm everything, we're gonna go all the way down. We've got Allen Wrench as the number 1 seed, Samurai Jackson as the number 4 seed.
Yeah, and this is the Switch Bowl.
That's gonna be the Smoky Mountain one. So this way, the Mud Dogs can hang out in the Bourbon Bowl.
Of course.
Which then we're saying this part doesn't matter too much because there's no home field advantage. Telford as the 2 seed and SCLSU as a 3 seed because LCSU did lose, so they were 2. So it would make sense at least go down to 3, but it doesn't matter in the long run. All right, so that's good there in those top 4, right? And you got Kentucky versus FA in the Huckleberry Bowl because they hate each other.
No, we like each other. I just hate his team name.
It is what it is.
Yeah, and I still want to.
Yeah. Then you got in the Under Armour Bowl, we have Copper Mountain versus Duke U. We had the Beats by Dre Bowl with Greenville and Brock. Stainless Steel was Vestal and DBAP. The Jacked Up Bowl was Copa and Land Thieves. The TSBN Bowl, we have Delta Fu in Louisiana. The Recruiting Bowl game, name to be determined. I guess we should probably figure out maybe. I was trying to look up what the bowl games are, and when it comes to the points and stuff that you get for winning.
How about call it the Tennessee Bowl?
Can we call it the Let's Go Brandon Bowl?
I mean,
no to any of that. I've always talked about maybe just removing the Tennessee off this league's name, honestly. Just because I've had people think that it's Tennessee related, and this league was originally very probably heavy in the Tennessee factor of who was in it, but it's branched out so much that
I was just saying that because there's some goofy ass bowls like the Texas Bowl,
right?
That ESPN just created, and there's a couple of them they just came up with out of the blue. Matter of fact, they even had one that was called No Name Bowl right now because it doesn't have a name.
Well, you also got
the Summer's Eve Bowl.
I mean, that's right next to the Toilet Bowl, right?
Oh, it's right there.
Exactly. I mean, it's the new one right
about
next
the
to
Viagra
Bowl. You
Bowl.
might as well do
it. Let's see here. I'm gonna pull up the.
I guess that's a no.
Yeah, no, it didn't work out. All right, here you go. So a regular bowl game wins just 50 extra points. A conference title wins 100 points. TCS is 150, and national champion is 200. There's no adding. You don't get accumulated points here. So they already won their conference title. So they're already at the 100-point factor. So it's already more than what a regular bowl game is. So would we have to restructure it later on for next season if we do it this way, like this? Well, this is 1 year only, I guess, so it doesn't really matter. This is going to end up being next year just a 50-point bowl. But for this one, should we have it be more than just that 100 points that they would have earned already, since they've already won 100 points by winning their conference title? Like, do we give them 150, which is matching a TCS one, or like 125, meet it in the middle?
So
I would just say just a regular bowl.
Yeah, what's a regular bowl get?
Regular bowl is 50.
Yeah, so then you win 50.
Then give them 50.
Well, they already get 100 for winning their conference title. There's no combining points. They don't get 150 by winning both.
Oh.
Well, if you call it the Bragging Rights Bowl and you set it that way for years to come, and just make the rule that if you win your conference but wind up in this bowl, you don't win points, you win the bragging rights. However, if you haven't won your conference and you get in, this gives you a chance to win points. I don't know.
So
just kind of how you would
say even if you win even if both teams win their conference, they're going to get 100 points for doing that.
Yeah, they're already at 100 points.
So whoever the winner, you're not going to give them an additional 50 points.
Well, if they won, then they're matching whoever got the TCS bowl game win at 150. So then we're giving them the ones who least deserved a TCS matchup in they won their conference, but they're the least deserving really anywhere else because of their record.
But they get money.
Well, they're already getting money. You already get money as well for winning your conference.
But you're not getting any bowl money. So I'm saying, so it's
right.
Anyway.
Okay, so go that right. So give them the 150 this time around because there's no extra money for them in a sense, is what we're saying.
Yeah, that's what I would say this year. But
not money,
and I'm far as from now on, never giving that bowl money, just giving them points. And if you happen to win your conference and end up in that bowl, I mean, it's kind of a consolation prize.
Okay.
Yeah, for teams that don't stand a chance to get in the actual TCS.
And then it doesn't mess around with having to restructure money either.
Yeah. I mean, this way it's a consolation for winning your conference, but not making it into the playoffs, and
Right.
I'm fine with it.
Good with that.
I mean,
why don't we just name it the Recruiting Bowl then and leave it at that? And the two lowest ranked or the two teams with the worst record that win their conference that aren't in
the playoffs.
The playoffs automatically get put in this. And that will eliminate, like, you may end up with a team like a 6-8 versus 8-5 or a 9-4, but
hey, Bromie, does the
10-4 or whatever. But yeah,
I'm sorry for interrupting here. There's 4 TCS bowls, right? There's 2 which go to the playoffs. The other 2 are just like the old BCS bowls, right? Orange Bowl, Rose Bowl, whatever.
Right.
Do those hold more weight as far as recruiting points than the other bowls do?
Yeah, so you win. So like right now, Kentucky or Fall, the winner of that is going to get the 150 points.
Okay.
Copper and Dukem, the 150 points. These other bowl games, the Beats by Dre, Stainless, Jacked Up, that's 50 points to them because their odds are they didn't win their conference, so they're getting nothing.
Right.
So this gives them at least 50 points in recruiting.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I was making sure it wasn't anything anywhere near close to the same kind of payout or the same kind of reward. But I mean, 50 sounds fine to me. I mean,
they get the points and there's still a cash payout for winning a bowl game as well.
Yeah. They could have won their conference and made it in a TCS game, non-playoff as well, and been able to really catch up. Right. For instance, right now, Copa, they won theirs, so they're going to get at least 100 points in recruiting. They're going to get whatever the payout is for money, but so for them, they're getting a little I guess if they were to win this game, we'd have to figure that out as well because technically they've already beaten their 50 points of a regular bowl win. So Copa got the conference championship points, but then they obviously have a tougher matchup against Land Thieves than not Terry Tate and Grimes. So maybe Terry Tate and Grimes, maybe it's just like 25.
Yeah, so I mean, at most they'll get at least they're at most they're going to get at least 100 points in recruiting and then extra cash if they were to win the bowl game. All right, so that sounds like we're done.
Do you guys know what Boudreaux's butt paste is, or is that just a Louisiana thing?
No, we sell it at work. I mean, it's for rashes and stuff.
It's for chapped ass.
Yeah.
So why not call this the Boudreaux's butt paste recruiting bowl?
It's not a terrible idea.
Sue's chapped ass. There you go.
Except for having to constantly say Boudreaux's butt paste. But all right, yeah, I'm good with that. We'll figure. We'll rename all that and everything like that.
You could just call it the Boudreaux's recruiting bowl.
Right. You could just do that.
Make everybody do their own research to see what it is.
Works for me. All right.
Hey, listen, I'm going to rejoice in still having the championship belt for another couple weeks, and then I got to hand it over, man. It's been a good run.
All right. Well, exactly. So it looks like we're done. I think we got everything done up. I'm going to go in here in just a minute and get everything set up for the bowl games and stuff like that. So I think we're locked in. Everyone's agreeing with everything we've got here?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, we're good, man.
All right.
All righty. Well, I appreciate all you guys' time. We did go a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I have to say that has to do with a lot of the problems we had. So I want to thank you guys all for joining us, and thanks for playing.
Thanks, boss.
Bye.
Daddy.